Chances are you're watching this video by yourself, solo. Nobody's in the room, nobody's in the car, nobody's with you. Keep it real. Have you ever been in a situation where people around you received the invitation to a party, function, a get together, but you somehow didn't get the invitation? You felt left out? Well, what if I told you that there is a function, very important function, that you could literally write your own invitation to it? Too good to be true? Well, let me tell you what I mean. When it comes to a job interview, believe it or not, a resume is your opportunity to write your own invitation to the function. Let me help you out a little bit. If you could change your paradigm and change the way that you see what a resume actually is, I think it would improve the way that you approach writing a resume. A resume is basically a way to describe yourself to complete strangers without you needing to be in the room. If somebody were to pick up your resume and to read a profile about who you were, what you've done, what your skill sets are, what your expertise might be, even what your interests are, that's a good way to sell yourself without needing to be around. One interesting thing about a resume that not enough people talk about is it's simply a place to spark curiosity. There should be something said, something done, something highlighted within the context of a resume that makes somebody look at it and say, wow, this person is interesting. Can you invite them to the function, which is typically known as the interview? Here are a few tips. One of the first things you need to consider when it comes to a resume is formatting. Believe it or not, it takes about 5, 10, 15 seconds at most for many HR representatives to look at a resume and determine whether or not it's something that they want to continue reading. One of the first things that they look at is form and function. Is it easy to read? Is it well formatted? How does it look? Are things situated in the right way? Are there borders and margins? Basic things. Word processing 101. Make sure you check for grammatical errors. Make sure your information is succinctly laid out. I'm not going to go as far as to tell you what sections to put in a resume: experiences, education, skill sets, job descriptions. However, beyond just the basic formatting of a resume, one of the things that are absolutely critical is the way you capture somebody's attention during those first few moments of reading your resume. In the past, you would hear about objectives, summaries, statements. A whole lot of things can be introduced. The reality is you can be creative when it comes to introducing yourself by way of a resume. Some people have a skill section at the very top. Some people have a link to a website, which takes them to a video. Some people have a brief description. Some people have a quote. To be honest, the sky's the limit. You can introduce yourself in a number of ways. You should always research the type of job that you're going for so that you can craft your resume specifically for that job. What are you applying for? Talk about those skill sets related to that job in the resume. You don't want a resume that highlights your video game prowess if in fact you're trying to become a chef. You don't want a resume that talks about cooking a great hamburger if you're trying to play video games. Hand in hand, make sure that you craft your resume based on what it is that you're applying for. There's several templates online that you can find that suit your style and personality. Why would you be a good fit? You want to emphasize your skills, abilities, strengths, and interests. You don't necessarily have had to have a job in that particular field or sector, but you certainly want to sell the fact that you're the best candidate for that particular position. With that said, there are many ways you can approach the writing of a resume, but don't forget that the perspective that you should take in writing your resume is that you're writing your own invitation to the best function in town, a job interview that could get you one step closer to your career. If you're someone who has advice, tips, best practices, something that you want to share regarding a resume or interesting story about an interview, by all means, please share it. In fact, we're going to talk about interviews in another video at another time, but let's stay on resumes today. Until next time, it's Kaz with Get Equipped TV. Peace.